Hello. Welcome to another Friday Live, the Mindset Sessions as a part of the Ask Your Mentor Anything live series. We've been running those series since 2020. Amazing. More than 2 years. And hello, Luna. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm really good. How are you?
I'm fine, recovering from COVID, but I feel a bit better. And I was thinking how blessed I feel that I do some things that I really love, and they really helped me to recover even faster because of the energy that I get from other people. So I was really excited for this live, to be honest. Today I had to put some makeup, to get some dress up, whereas
Yeah.
last 2 weeks that was not the case because of I had to quarantine myself. So thank you for joining me live once again, Luna, here, and thank you all of you that you're here live with us. First of all, would really love to know that you're here live with us. So please introduce yourselves. Hello, and use the link so as to be able to see your name in the comments. So click the link that you will see in the description box so as to be able, to see your names in the comments, to be able to show them, to the live. And of course, as I always ask, where are you watching us from? I'm so curious. So let us know, where are you watching us from? Luna, where are you based right now? Home?
So right now I'm in Budapest. I actually normally I'm based in London, but I've been just sort of stuck in Budapest because of COVID, and now I've actually started working in a refugee shelter to help people fleeing Ukraine. So I mean, yeah, I feel also very grateful for my lifestyle because being able to pick my hours, I was able to actually support some people who need me right now and arrange my schedule around that, and even work on my computer at the refugee shelter. And it's actually been obviously the situation that is dire, but I feel like my time is needed here, and somehow I've had really like a sense of purpose and things like that. And I'm just so grateful that our work allows us to do that, for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah, so right now Budapest, which is one of the front lines of
yeah, I'm
yeah.
based in Athens, Greece, for those of you who are watching us for the first time. And those are live series, like something webinars, you like to call them, where we cover mindset topics, okay? You asked for more mindfulness. It was as a result of my annual alumni group. So for those that are first time with us today, let us know in the comments if you have any kind of questions regarding our topic, which is actually mindset shifts for successful negotiations with clients. So we're going to talk about negotiations because you've asked us for, and I think that's also something we really struggle as translators and language professionals, interpreters in general. So definitely I would really like to answer real case studies. So I have here my notes. So I've gathered, okay, your real case studies. Luna is going to bring her own real results, and definitely I would really like to be as personalized as I can. So definitely use the comments below, okay, and let us know if you have any specific question. And of course, if you would like to cover any specific topic in the upcoming live series, use a form that you can find in the description box of this live. Okay, if you would like to do that anonymously, or you can get in touch with Luna and myself privately and let us know what topic or what guests you would like us to have in the upcoming live series. So today is all about mindset. Definitely, I've been repeating myself, mindset is more than 80% of the success. Mindset is what separates best from the rest. It's something that I really love to talk about, and I believe that knowledge exists out there. We don't reinvent the wheel. So based on my experience, since you've been asking me for how long I've been helping other colleagues, so officially I've been helping other colleagues since 2016, that I became certified as a coach myself, and I created the first voluntary program for translators. So for me, mindset is that important because knowledge exists out there. Knowledge, you can learn it, okay, you can pay, you can find it for free. But for me, what really separates those that they are able to make it and those that they are struggling is their mindset. And that's why we created those series specifically for mindset. So take this opportunity totally for free to join us live. Once per month are the mindset sessions, but I'm planning to create more live series, and I'm going to share a poll on my social media to ask you your opinion about topics apart from mindset topics that you would like us to cover in upcoming educational video live series, again, because I really love the interaction with you guys. But you will be able to find the recording again in the Mentoring for Translators free community. If you're a member of my paid alumni group, then definitely in our dedicated Facebook group, and of course my YouTube channel for those that would like to take a look at the previous live series, or if you would like to watch again, the video, so the recording will remain, but we would really love the interaction to get to know with each other, and of course to get personalized feedback to your own cases. So Luna, would you like to start by introducing the topic?
Yes, for sure. So yes, some of you have asked us that would be really interesting to cover negotiation practices, because in our day-to-day life, of course, we always have to negotiate with our clients for larger projects, sometimes also with colleagues. And I think it was a very interesting topic to treat on the standpoint of the mindset, because like you say, it's 80%. If you're really confident, there's 80% chance that you will actually get the deal. So what's important to really notice with negotiation is that it is a power balance between one party and the other. And basically, you're trying to convince the other party to buy your service. And that means that they basically have all the power, because if they say no, maybe you will react. They can, and then maybe it will be a problem for you. And so they have the ball in their camp. And the whole aspect of negotiation is to restore the power balance between the two parties. So for that, we have a few tips for you.
Yeah, definitely practical tips. I really love to share practical tips. So definitely I have a list also of my advice that I've been sharing privately with my mentees, and definitely why not? As you know me, you know that I really like also for free to offer my help and advice. So definitely take advantage of the free discovery calls that I'm offering these days. Okay, I will share the link in the comments, and let us know if you have specific case studies you would like us to cover today, okay, and to give you an answer. So use the comments below, and we will see it, and we will get back to you with a practical advice for your own specific situation. So you would like to start with your own case study, Luna? What do you think?
Sure. Well, should I just start? Yeah, okay. With the most recent, I've actually had. Yeah, should we start with the tips first, before though?
I would prefer to have the tips as as wrapping up all the actual topic, because we might come up with more tips related to the
sure, no problem.
That's why I thought to leave the tips at the end, but also people to stay with us until the end.
Sure. Yeah, that's a very recent one. I was asked to quote for a job myself, and positioning myself as handling multilingual projects. And then the client said that my prices were double what other agencies had offered this person. And so I had two options: either, apologize and feel really, oh no, what am I doing wrong with my pricing? Why? How come am I so much more expensive? But instead, I took the higher route of saying, I guess maybe if we're not a good match, I completely understand. I explained my payment structure and why it was said that way. And that with the quality, that I provide, and the level of experience that I have, and the level of specialization, and the many years of specialization that I have, that this was my minimum rate that I could offer this person, and that we were probably serving a different clientele. And I think this was a good way to reply, first of all, and to not lower your confidence because of someone saying that to you, because half of what I was quoting is a really low rate in my world and in my perception. So, there was no way for this person to, change all of a sudden all the hard work that I do in my business and my whole payment structure with just one comment. So
did you reply back?
No. So he said, I will come back to you in case something changes, but he also didn't have a lot of experience with arts specialized content. So he also said that it was a new niche for him, and he didn't really probably know what very, very highly specialized pricing would be like. But we completely great contact and great reports. The conversation is still open, so that's good, I think.
So you didn't reply back, even though the first thought was actually to apologize, which for me is really surprisingly this, and it's a great surprise, because also I think some other people might have the same, reaction as you do, even though myself never thought of actually apologizing for my rates.
Like backing off, I think it's just from when you don't feel legitimate, or you have imposter syndrome, you're like, oh, maybe I was all wrong all these years. It's like, no, you're okay.
So how you can avoid that, since you asked me for some tips, and that's why I asked you to start with the case studies, because for me it's really important to relate with the topic and the case study. And I think that all of us here, and those of you are watching us, let us know in the chat if you've been in the same case. I think all of us as translators, language professionals, interpreters, we've been there, okay? There should be, especially if we're many years in the business, one case, one at least, case where someone will tell us, okay, you know, your rates are very high or higher than the other offers that we've received, and you give me the opportunity to discuss. Like there was also in another group on in Facebook from Martina Russo, another post that she mentioned that she had a 5-figure offer and the other offer was like 10 times less. So it was like, wow. What she should think now, should she apologize because her offer was 5-figure and the other was 10 times less than the offer that she had submitted for a specific localization project? For me, that gives me the opportunity to discuss that.
Mm-hmm.
There is no regulation here, so it's a profession that's not regulated, which means that everyone can go there, you know, and charge and quote whatever they want, and that's why we see so many differences in the prices. First of all, okay, so that would be my first thought, that everyone can go there, they can quote whatever they want, okay, and that doesn't make it legitimate for me, okay. So definitely the first part is actually how you feel, and I would reflect on why, okay, you feel like you need to apologize as a first thought, even if you know you rejected the thought. And I think that many of you, as you mentioned in the chat here, you say I had so many. Hi, so please use the link so as to be able to see your names. I'm not able to see your names that way, so click the link, the StreamYard link you will find, so as to be able to see your names in the chat. First of all, this one. Secondly, for me, it's really important to boost your confidence. And even if we had it in the tips, okay, to share at the end, that's a great opportunity right now to discuss. Because if you have the right level of confidence, not overconfident or not under, you know, less confident than the regular or the one that you should have, okay, as a level of confidence, I think that you actually don't jeopardize, you know, or don't risk to be at these kind of situations as a feeling, I mean. So if you have the right level of confidence, that's very difficult to get there. I think, okay, you won't feel, you won't have that feeling. And definitely you will be able, okay, rationally to actually address such kind of messages. So as you mentioned here in the chat, many of you, okay, most of you, you have encountered such situations. And I think that's very normal. And I would find abnormal, you know, or the opposite if you hadn't faced, hadn't encountered such situation. If everyone would tell you, wow, your rates are amazing, yes, we want you, so most probably you would undercharge, in my opinion, and your rates wouldn't be, you know, high enough. But for me, first of all, okay, the right level of confidence. And where do we, okay, find that level of confidence apart from having, okay, being surrounded by other colleagues, okay, people that we admire, mentors, or well-esteemed colleagues that we can ask them, you know, their opinion about specific things like rates. And I can give you a real example that I have had myself when I was able to double my rates. So first of all, ask, you know, colleagues that you really respect, that you know that they are well esteemed, that you know that they're many years in the business and they can give you a practical advice on that. Secondly, which is really, really important, you need to set your rates, okay, based on your living expense. Because if you know, if you charge lower than that, you won't be able to pay your bills. You won't have second thoughts about any kind of answer of your clients, even if they're telling you, no, you charge too high. Yes, but I won't be able, you know, to pay my bills if I charge lower. And that's something you need to learn, okay? That's not something that we wake up one morning and we know it. So you need to use specific tools, okay, to be able to know that your rates are set at a specific rate, okay, for a specific reason, that you've reached those rates, that you have set up those rates for a specific reason, even if that's it, you know, to make a specific profit for your business or to cover your living expenses or whatever is the pricing strategy for your business. But you know it really well, you know, in your mind that you are following a specific pricing strategy.
But also not just to pay your bills. I believe that we are also, we also have the liberty to live a little bit above just about paying our bills. And this should be as paramount for you and as important for you as your fees, your rates covering your bills, but also, for example, investment strategies. Long term, we need to, save for a pension. We need to have beautiful holidays if that's what makes us really, really happy. We have to, enjoy all of this and enjoy your life, So that's also very important.
Yes, I have that as a taken. I don't negotiate that, if we can say, but definitely I start with the minimum. Okay, so if you are pretty aware, okay, what's your minimum
For
rate
sure.
that you can charge just to be able to cover your expenses, then you will never go underneath this. And that's how I started. That's how I was able to justify in my head, okay, not to my clients, in my head first, to justify why I charge that much. And then I won't be able, to justify or convince any kind of clients, because I know that I'm a business. I know that I need to make a profit just to be a business. And of course, I need to pay my bills and, of course, make some profit, as you mentioned, because I really want a specific, lifestyle. So Ileana says it's difficult for clients to perceive the value, but once they see the difference, they trust you. Ileana is one of the most successful mentees of mine. So she was able to make, 5-figure months. So she's here to share her expertise with you. And I totally agree with you, Ileana, because we have, I think, at least two live video recorded, on my YouTube channel about the perceived value and how you can come up with a code that your clients won't say no. So definitely go back and watch those videos where we give specific advice on how you can let your clients know about this perceived value, if we can say so, as you to be able to justify the higher rates and higher in comparison with other suppliers. So for me, the first of all, you need to be confident. Secondly, that confidence really comes from knowing pretty well why you charge that high. Okay, so not because competitors do, not because that's the regular rates for the market. No, that's because you have calculated. You know exactly what you need to charge just to make ends meet at the end of the month, and of course to make some profit over it. So that's for me the starting point. I have a free tool. Okay, you can download it. You can calculate your prices. Okay, in the mentoring for translators group, in the file section, in 3 different languages. Download it and calculate your living expenses, and based on those, you will be able to calculate your rates. Then no one will tell you, you charge too high. Too high in comparison to what? That should be the first thought when someone tells you something like that.
That's
I've
it.
heard many times, because imagine I've been told so many times that myself, but I never worried, because I knew that that's my minimum. That's the threshold. So you were about to say something, Luna?
Yeah. It looked like in that particular case that the other agencies that they were asking were not specialized, and I think that's reason enough. Being in a niche, we are obviously required to do a lot more practice and a lot more CPD to work on that specialization, which also justifies the fact that we are a niche. We don't generalists, so we ask higher rates. It's just how it works.
Yeah, but definitely that's something you need to justify in your head, not to educate your clients. For me,
sure.
and also because our topic is negotiation, I don't think that at some point there is room for negotiation, especially if the clients are those that they're looking for the lowest rate. So you need to decide, okay, who is your ideal client? And if your ideal client is not someone who negotiates rates, and it's not someone, who is bidding their projects, which means that they're going around taking some prices without knowing, the industry, without knowing, if the agency is specialized or not, those are not your ideal clients. Then you should look for those clients that they are going to accept your rates without negotiation, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's our obligation. We are obliged. We need to find those clients, okay? And we need to establish our online presence and ourselves as the go-to expert source to be able, to justify those rates to us, not to our clients. And I don't really like the convince verb. Don't really like to convince our clients, okay? We need, first of all, to justify that to ourselves. And when we are 100% sure about our rates, we won't have second thoughts about getting back to a client that replies, send us a reply. Don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. But I think you do go through those experiences where you have to build experience on dealing with clients. You don't start a profession and then all of a sudden find those key ideal clients in general. So I think it's still
the sooner the better, Luna. Because if it takes you like 7 years, like it took myself, then that's a disaster. But if you, with the guidance of someone, or by studying, or by being, decisive what you want, then 1 or 2 years, that's okay. It doesn't have to take, the whole rest of your life to find those clients. And definitely, yes, success is not easy. Okay, if it was easy to find those clients, then everyone would be successful. Everyone would be like able to charge 5-figure, codes and projects. So yes, but that's why I'm telling you it's our responsibility, and it really hasn't. It's not related to if we're starting out or not, in my opinion, because I've helped colleagues, in 1 or 2 years to find those kind of clients. It's really about the work we do with ourselves and how
Exactly, yeah.
we are. Okay.
It's confidence, but it's also, I think it's also the way you present yourself in society. Some people are more, I don't know, they're probably more social, or like have like a, yeah, they can see, they can feel the reaction of the other person and say the right thing. Some people don't have that, and they have to learn it as well.
Yeah, that may be emotional intelligence, at some point. We can work towards that direction, yes, if we don't have that talent, as you mentioned, but definitely dealing with such situation, asking people around, having some colleagues that you trust, asking them questions, and not being isolated is one solution to this problem. I think the main issue with translators is that they prefer to work isolated, so they don't ask other colleagues, they don't ask what's happening, in the industry, what are the industry standards. And I was recently surprised by a post of another person who teaches other colleagues, I don't know, on LinkedIn, and he was calculating how much a translator can make. So he had set in his mind a specific, threshold for translators that they can, the ceiling, they can reach per month. And that was not 5-figure months, okay? And if it was 5-figure months, that would be that they wouldn't sleep, in his opinion and based on his own calculation. But he never took into consideration the fact that you can charge 28 cents a direct client, which I have my mentees. I have mentees of mine, and some of them, that they charge 28 cents and not the end client.
Yes.
I was again surprised that someone commented under my comment that, really, do you know someone that they charge that much, 20 cents or 21 cents? And I know plenty. So for me,
do I.
Yeah, it's a lack of knowledge of the industry. Okay, it's a lack of confidence that we cannot charge that high. And of course, when I mentioned that, I got many comments about what about the NDA and what's about outsourcing, because I mentioned that you can create a team. Of course, I was not referring, to outsourcing when you have signed an NDA or when you work for another translation company. But when you work for your own direct clients, you set your own terms and conditions, and then you can have the growth that you want. And that also comes back to the initial point that we were discussing, that you need to set the lifestyle that you want, okay, and business lifestyle that you want, so to live the way that you want. So yeah, that was great. So would you like to go to the next case studies?
Yes. So I think it was about, so when you, for example, you hear an acquaintance saying, oh, someone in my network is asking for a translator, should I give you the contacts? And then what would be your introduction to that person? Either you have them on the phone, and what exactly do you say? This is a case study that was asked from us.
And negotiation, okay, the question, but definitely we can give a short answer here. For me, would be a presentation, okay. I definitely prefer the written, connection contact rather than the phone, because written, okay, is there, you can see it, you can read it many times, and also you can have an archive of your previous conversations with those potential clients, okay, or colleagues that they're going to refer you to potential client. So for me, those intermediaries, if we can say, okay, or referrals, people that they're going to refer us to a potential client, should be addressed like a potential client. So yes, you might be, you need to repeat yourself at some point, like sending them a cover letter that you have already, an email that you introduce yourself to potential clients.
I think citing the person who put you in contact is a good starting point. Like, oh, I heard from this person that you were looking for translation services, or did you have any documents at the moment you need translated, and can I offer you more information about how to do that? Something like
that. Pretty simple. Keep it simple.
And
yes, if you need to repeat some information just to introduce yourself to the two different people, yes, you can do that. Okay. So I hope that we have answered your first question about how you introduce yourself. Keep it simple, okay, related to the topic and the niche, the specialization that you're asked. And if you have a specialized portfolio for that specific specialization, I think it works better than any other marketing material to send to those people. Of course, a referral and a person that is going to refer you to potential clients might also in the future refer you to other potential clients. So you never know, okay? And it's not loss of time to make that proper introduction to such a person. Let us know if you would like us to cover more about this topic. I don't know if you would like to add anything else.
No, I think this is that's it for this one. We can jump to the next one. For example, if you ask for their budgets for one particular project and you find it too low, how do you politely say, "Sorry, but we won't be a good match," for example?
So, what do you do if they directly ask for the rate, or if there is a specific budget?
Yeah. I'm just like a little bit further in the sentence. You ask for the budget, but in case it is too low, how can you politely?
You went okay. Let's cover it from the beginning, okay? Because there's so many questions in one topic here. So, what do you do if they directly ask for your rate? Okay, I think I've given you at least 3 different scenarios how you can handle the situation. 2 scenarios: you have seen the text and you haven't seen the text. Of course, you cannot, provide an offer if you haven't seen the text. Is unprofessional. So for me, it's out of discussion, this one, unless you would like to have a sim of a business, translation business, which means that you have a list of rates. Okay, that's not something I suggest, but I've seen colleagues doing that. So if that's your case and it's something that you would like to decide for your own business, then having a list with your rates. But definitely, my opinion, if you've been working with me for a while, that I don't really like to give upfront the rates without, first of all, of course, seeing the text and getting into some kind of discussion with your clients, just to know what's the deadline. Is it urgent, Are there any other particularities? Do you need to outsource? Do you need to create a team? Do you need to include proofreading? So how you will be able, to set the rates if you do not have such information? So I really assume that this question comes from a starting out translator, okay? Because I wouldn't expect such a question for someone being many years in the business. You need to know all those details before you code for a specific project. Otherwise, for me, it's totally unprofessional, and you might end up, apart from sounding unprofessional, end up with undercharging, a project if you don't know all the details.
Exactly.
And also, you cannot be competitive. Like, I don't know if you would like to give discounts for repetitions using a capsules. Also, if you don't have the text, okay, or details about the text, you won't be able to be competitive and give such discounts maybe to a good client of yours. So many different scenarios here. But for me, first of all, you need to be professional. You need to know the details about the project before you code. And most times, if they ask you for the rate before they give you some details, most probably they are not willing to work with you. They're not seeing it seriously, or they don't have a real project, so they are just looking for the rates, or maybe they're fishy or spammy. Yeah, they would like to learn rates without having a real project for you. And those, again, I'm coming up to my previous comment, those are not your ideal clients. Those that they're fishing other colleagues, just looking for the rates without having a real project, they're not your clients. Your clients, if they really want to work with you and seeing it seriously and they have a real project for you, they won't ask for the rates without giving you details about the project. Okay? So,
or you can even agree to sign an NDA if it's confidential or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. But most of the times, if they come to you, they trust you for some reason. They know that you're a professional, so they know that you have some ethics, that you follow, and you should have them on your website as well. What if you give them a range and they directly go, that's too much? When you give them a range, most probably you have lost the client. So now we're getting into our topic, okay, negotiation. If you really want to lose a client, give them a price. They will leave. That's not what they want, okay? And that's not the reason they're going to trust you. There are other reasons they're going to trust you. Is the questions that you're asking them about the project that makes them, okay, trust you and work with you. So if you have the right questions to ask them and they realize that you are a pro, you're a professional at what you do, and you really care about their project and their work, then you get higher chances of actually getting assigned this project, okay? And of course, winning a long-term collaboration with those people. So you need to try to gain their trust. And by just sending around your rates, is not going to happen. So you can ask for their budget in case it is really too low. How can politely let go? Yeah, definitely. You can even have ready-made replies for such case scenarios that you can a bit change them, okay, accordingly. But you can have them there written for such case. So how do we reply? Okay, when the budget is very low, politely. have a template of such a message. What if you give them a range and they go directly too much? How you should reply to such emails. So you can have some case scenarios, and you can have a pre-written answer that responds, to such questions or case studies. And of course, accordingly, you can make some small adjustments and send them, because sometimes we're emotionally affected and we cannot be that professional in writing. So first of all, if you don't have such templates ready, give it some time. Don't reply ASAP. Give it one day, if it's emotional. If you have the templates ready, then you earn some time, because you can keep some distance. You have written that templates long ago, not affected emotionally by the specific case study. So you just accordingly adjust it and you send the replies. But for me, what's my most common answer to such questions? Do not spend so much time to people that they're not interested in what you do. So those people, even if the budget is too much for them or their budget is too low for you, you're not a good match. You can have some replies to send them, and that's it. Don't waste your time. Try to find better paying clients and your ideal clients online with the methods that we have been teaching here. So you can ask for the budget in case it's too low, how you can politely let go. Yes, definitely. That's the minimum. We can undertake this project. Thank you very much. And of course, have an open door there in case that you will be able, to cover this budget. I would be very glad to work with you. Of course, I'm not native speaker in English. Of course, you need to adjust, but that's the idea. We have you leave an open door, because you never know to whom they might refer you in the future or whenever they will be able to have.
If you consider, if you have a project that can accommodate this type of budget, then you feel free to get back to me or something like that.
And the last question, if it is acceptable, so the lower budget of the clients, if it's acceptable by you, how can you lower your offer without getting awkward? Definitely with the perceived value. So if you have in detail what you have included in your offer and you're willing, for example, to remove the terminology-based creation or to remove additional service that you have added there because you know that it won't affect the quality of your work and you're willing to do so, you can explain to them, that in the budget and the code that I have sent you, I have listed this, and this. In order to be able to cover your own budget and to work together, we are willing, to remove this, and this, and if you accept it, that's okay. Usually the best case scenario is to send them 3 different offers.
Yeah.
We have had a discussion like this. So in such a case, I would definitely suggest you, if you really want the client to keep them, have 3 different budgets, The golden one that includes everything, that's the most expensive, that's the ideal case scenario for you, that you would really love to work with them. The lowest one that you can go for this specific project, providing high quality work, of course, and not jeopardizing, the reputation of your business. And a middle case scenario that you can be in the middle of 2 situations, not too low, not too high. And usually the clients choose the highest, in my opinion. That's especially if they go for the quality rather than the budget.
Yeah, I had this scenario once actually where I really wanted to work with this client, and then they told me that they were a charity. So with museums and public institutions, sometimes I do work with publicly funded organizations. And in that case, it was an interpreting gig, and I did offer. Normally, I have a recording fee if my interpreting is recorded or not, and then I lowered that because I knew that it wouldn't affect the quality of my work or anything. I was still getting my hourly rate as regular. However, the recording fee is something that is my copyright, so I can set the rate I want for this one, and then I halved it for them, and I think they were really happy about that, and I managed to keep the client that way.
But as a clever suggestion here is actually whenever they tell you your rates are too high, ask them for their budget.
Oh yeah, I asked them.
If they don't have a budget, then there is nothing you can do. But if they have a specific budget, it's up to you to choose if you're going to work with them, in that specific budget or not. But you can always reply politely that that's the minimum, that we can charge for this project, and would be happy to serve your needs. I can work with you in case you will be able to cover this budget. So there are ways that you can politely let go, but also have an open, window door there for an upcoming opportunity. So do you think we've covered enough this topic?
Yeah, I believe so. If there's anything else you want us to know, just write a question in the chat.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if we have covered this specific question, because it's really, really interesting. It's very common, such questions that I get asked. But for me, it's really important to get on a discussion with your clients and not sending around your rates without getting them on a discussion. Also, that shows their kind of seriousness, how serious they are
It's
about
true.
working with you, if they get on a call with you, or if they exchange a couple of emails or messages on LinkedIn, depending, okay, where is the first contact made.
It's true, but I also think that you feel more confident answering that and not, adjusting the budget according to their budget whenever you're standing again from a position of confidence, and that your business is usually, you have confidence in the way that your business is going. If they feel at any point that you're relying on their money to survive the next month, then they have all the power and you have none, and this is where you're going to be fluttering and being like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, or I can lower the rates, and then you will look quite unprofessional doing that. So I think it's also quite easy to it's easier for me personally to negotiate a deal when I know that I've covered my objectives, my salary objectives in the past few months, that I know that I'm comfortable enough. I think it's something that I have to deal with in terms of my mindset as well. I can go back to the scarcity mindset sometimes when I've had a bad month, and then my confidence just goes down. So it's something that I'm like constantly working on. But I did notice now that with experience and years of experience, that I'm much more comfortable answering that. But it also comes with experience.
Yeah, a lot of experience to become familiar. I never lower my rates, and that's why I really suggest you to have 3 different offers from the beginning, so as not you to be, the position to lower your rates. I don't really find it professional, but
usually even my option 1 is more expensive than their budget. But
I understand that there are some starting out translators that they really don't want to lose the client. Okay, so that's why I'm giving some alternatives here. But definitely my main suggestion is never not lower your rates. If you're going to do it, at least justify with specific services that you have included, okay? So as the clients perceive the value that you're offering to them, it's really about the value. And of course, the 3 offers scenario that I just described you, I think it will solve all of such problems, especially when it comes to website, because we have a case scenario with a website coaching. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So let's go to the next one. I think we gave many practical advice here.
I hope so.
So would you like to introduce the upcoming or
okay, yes. Let me take a look because it's a long question.
You can read it. It's a real case scenario. So people, they had the time to write it to us. Let's read
it. So I knew I was competing with several other translators and late. So I sent them an email. They answered 2 days later saying that they really liked my presentation. Oops, apologies for the cat.
Yeah, that's nice.
Saying that they really liked my presentation in the email, sent me a link to the website they would like translated and to send my rate and portfolio. And I didn't have any portfolios, and all my tools came up with different word count for the websites. I think this is also like you need to have an editable document whenever you translate the website, because otherwise it's very complicated. Yeah. So I could only give them a range and different options like translation, revision, etc. Then saying I'd be happy to send a quote if they can provide me with a final text to translate in an editable format. Yes, that's what you need to do. I also quickly assembled some feedback and a few images on Canva, and there was no actual text or project in my portfolio. Upon receiving, they just said thank you, and then I never heard from them again. 2 days later, I went to add them on LinkedIn, but they only had the follow button. I couldn't connect, so I followed them.
It's not news for you. You can connect them even if they have a follow button. You click on the drop-down menu with the arrow that's next to follow button, and then you can find the connect. So let us know, okay, if you can find it, and that's pretty easy, and definitely I recommend you to go and connect with those people.
Yeah, connect with them, be like, oh, did you receive my email?
You follow them before you follow. About the portfolio, since it's not our topic, I wouldn't like to cover it, since in the alumni, okay, the annual alumni, we have a specific month, okay, and specific talents to create our portfolio. So we're going to cover that in detail.
Yeah, and also like you said that, Virginia, as well, if a client just says thank you and then doesn't reply to you, don't waste time chasing them. You gave them the information that they requested, and you will be wasting a lot of time and energy and emotional, back and forth trying to answer.
Yeah, for some reason, our industry and colleagues, they really focus a lot,
on the follow-up.
Yeah, on such kind of situations when they don't get a reply, when they get a no, and they do not focus a lot on actually expanding their network, better paying clients and better clients in general. And they really stuck there. How should I reply? Why you should reply at all? Why is that the only client, okay, that you really can get out there? So yes, we can find some scenarios. We can have some templates of replies, but apart from that, I wouldn't spend much time to such really. And I think that's also one advice that really has helped me to grow my business, that never spent time, or really occurred my mind, how should I reply that back? Like they don't really appreciate my value, or they replied me like that and I was like, I didn't have the clue.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, I think, because I also used to spend a lot of time thinking and really feeling bad about myself, feeling, oh, what did I do wrong,
That's
but
we're working today, how you can change that, okay? How you can focus on the positive side of your business, on the growing side of your business, and not, some short stories that they really affect you emotionally, and dealing with such situations, okay? Being able to reflect on them and get, only the conclusions that they would really help you, to grow even further your business, rather than wasting time on how to get back to them, how to follow them, how to act. No, okay, no, please find better clients, focus on expanding your network with better paying clients, with your ideal clients, people who will appreciate your value, okay, in your business. And
because they exist.
There are such clients out there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You will be surprised when you find them. So let's focus about the website, okay, the negotiation part of this story. So yes, I agree with Luna. You definitely need to ask for an editable copy, okay? And they really look for starting out translators that they are going to do the work to calculate a whole website, whereas the calculation is not going to be, accurate. So in order to be able to give an accurate, code, tell them that you need the text in the format that the web developer is going to put them on the website and upload them. It's not your responsibility to do so. And if you're going to do so, or if you're going to work directly on their website, that's localization project, and that should be charged accordingly, at least double the rate, because you use specific tools, because you're getting on their website to translate it and to localize the website. So definitely that's a different offer that you need to make, and you need to know, okay, you need to have the know-how to do this, okay, the tools and the expertise to be able to go directly in the website and translate, localize the text there. If you don't have such knowledge and tools to use, then definitely you need the text in an editable format, okay, so as to be able to give an accurate code. If they don't have such a text, then tell them that's not going to be an accurate code. That's an approximate, price that you can
An estimate.
give them, but that might be different, okay, from the final offer before you start working with those people. So what do you think? Did we answer this question?
Yeah, I think so.
So don't really like giving them a range, okay? Like you mentioned here. Mira, so definitely avoid that by saying that I'd be happy to send a quote. Yes, definitely, I would agree with you. If they said thank you, they were not your ideal client, okay? Keep going to find better clients. You don't really want to deal with such clients that they are not willing or able to give you, an editable kind of text for you to translate or to give a quote. So how can I say my rate with confidence as if it was the most normal thing in the world? Why is not the most normal thing in the world? I have had a discussion with a client that they told me that it's unethical to charge 5-figure, in one invoice. And I told them that I used to invoice 28K and I didn't feel unethical. And actually the client didn't negotiate the rate at all. And when I want to boost my confidence, I have that printed invoice there in front of me to see it. So I would definitely suggest you to do that, Luna, for the months that you don't feel that very well. Have those invoices, very good cooperations of yours, printed or somewhere in front of you, so as to be able to see them the time and then to get some energy that you can multiply those times in your career and in your business. So I don't really, that's a mindset issue here, okay, that we have. Why is not the most normal thing in the world? What if they ask me why translator XY has over half? Why it's your responsibility to answer that? Like if you're going to buy some shoes, are you going to ask, the retailer why the next one has the same shoe? I don't know, the price. We never do that. It's only in our head, We're not there,
We need to justify why we ask those.
Yeah, and what if the other translator is unprofessional, is not specialized, they're starting out, whatever? You're not there to spend time, okay? Because time is money and it's your business, and you should really focus your time on growing your own business. So if this is in your mind, No one has ever asked me, being more than 15 years in the business, why someone XYZ has charged more than my rate. I have been politely rejected because of my rates, and I understand that, but I was never asked why that kind of translator they charge lower. And if I had such an occasion, I have ready my answer. There is Google Translate; it's totally for free. You can use it. It's zero their cost. I have such replies, and once I have used it, I don't feel like very honored about this. But yes, I was like until here. And
Yeah.
you can go with Google Translate, even zero your expenses. Go use Google Translate. You won't need to spend any kind of money, and that's it. That's my answer in such case scenario. But definitely, the confidence again. I have a great tip right now, since we would like some tips about confidence. When you know that you are offering a solution to their problem, when you realize your value, the way we worked in the ideal client avatar in my fully booked translator formula and ultimate linking prospecting system, the value, your own value to your clients, when you realize that they need you, and whenever you send them an email, a message, or you phone them, you call them, they really should feel and appreciate that, because they were looking for you and you out of a sudden you were in front of them, then you will never have such second thoughts again. So what you need to do is to change, okay, the way you've been thinking about your business, to realize that you're offering a solution, okay, to those clients, that they have a problem and you have them the best solution ever. Then I don't think that you will ever again, have second thoughts about your pricing and your confidence. Usually when we're trying to sell to people, the lack of confidence comes because we think that we are salesy, we are pussy, people don't want us, and we are there, to convince them. No, you're not there to convince them. You're offering something that they're looking for. You're offering a solution to their business that actually they will be able to submit a tender, okay? They will be able to win millions with your translations. And the sooner you realize that they should be dependent on you, not you and them, then you will realize the value that you're offering, and you will never have second thoughts about your pricing. So the moment I realized that I'm very good at translating, that I'm always on time, I'm always delivering on time, I've never missed a deadline. And when I realized the millions that my clients get by my own time translations, high quality translations to submit to tenders, I never have had second thoughts about my pricing and my rates. So that's for me what we should work, okay, a lot in our head.
Yeah, and as a practical reply to this, with my recent case study, this is what happened. They said, oh, there might be a disconnect because the other agencies we ask half of yours, and what I told them is like, I stay busy at this rate. This is I have very happy clients at this rate, and then that with the level of quality, I cannot afford to pay my translators less or pay myself less.
I don't suggest, because it's like justifying something, okay, that shouldn't be justified here, okay? It's like us being there apologizing for what we are charging, okay? And we don't
No, of course. It was a very short answer.
Yeah, if you feel better by doing this, that's okay. For me, it's thank you so much. Okay, I've been 20 years in the business, 10 years in the business, or I've been working with such kind of clients, and they were really always satisfied, and that's the industry rates. So if you are satisfied with going with the low rates, then thank you so much, and we would really love to work with you in a future project that your budget allows. Something like that. Very professional, very short to the point. Don't justify, don't apologize, okay? And yes, sometimes we need to educate our clients, but not in such a written format when they're telling us why someone is charging lower. Yes, Google Translate is for free. That's the answer. Okay, because there are rates for everything. It's up to you to choose your own rates. But the sooner you realize the value, okay, that you provide to your clients and why you charge that amount of money, that is the minimum that you can charge so as to pay your bills, then you won't have again second thoughts about your pricing. At least that's my 5 cents here. Any other practical advice, Luna?
I think this one is pretty much done.
That was a great question. So how can I sell my rate with confidence? Go back and watch the recording. If you still have questions on this topic, I would really love to address them. So at which point in a negotiation and how should you bring up a contract or upfront payment? Yes, that's a great question. When you have written approval by your client, so you can send them, a written quote, not in a formal way. or in a phone call, okay? So when they accept it, then you follow up with a formal, code that includes, okay, your contract or your terms of agreement, and of course, there in the terms you have the upfront payment.
The
Okay?
payment structure that you require.
Exactly, the code that they need to sign or they need to accept in written, and then when you get the prepayment, you start the project. That's something you need to have it very clear. If that's something you would really like to apply in your business with end clients, okay, and I would really suggest you to do so. Anything else you would like to add, Luna?
No, I think you covered it perfectly.
Okay, I think too high rates lead to you only getting revisions, not translations between colleagues. Is this true? How do you negotiate with colleagues in general? Is it common practice to accept everyone's rate? Yeah, usually, with colleagues, we usually charge lower. Okay, that's common. We have in our industry, even though the 28 cents I told you previously, it was charged from a translator to intermediary and not the end clients. And sometimes you can even charge your high rates to colleagues, okay, or intermediaries, and that's pretty fine. So high rates.
But there's more room for discussion, I think, between colleagues. It's like, oh, this client.
And that's okay. You don't need, to lose your time. If you cannot afford, undertaking that translation at a lower rate, thank you, say thank you, continue to the next. And if you would like to undertake this project so as to make a favor or something, just let them know that my rate is this, okay, because I really appreciate you and I would really like to do this for you. I have had colleagues that they worked with me, accepting a low rates because of the Greek industry standards, if we can say. And that's only, okay, in between us. And if this is something, okay, doesn't really make a loss for our business, okay? If this is something you would like, but getting only revisions and not translation is only with translation companies. I don't think with any clients has to do. And usually with translation companies, there's no much room, as Luna mentioned, for negotiation, like colleagues. Usually the terms, the conditions are pretty set. The rate is the same. The only thing you can do is to put your minimum there and tell them, like, for example, my minimum is 8 cents and I don't go lower than that. That's okay.
But you can still try and get higher. I've worked for a few agencies, and sometimes I've asked for double, and they said yes, because sometimes they send you tenders with like the minimum that they are willing to pay, and you're like, no, actually, I'd like double that, and they're like, okay. So wow.
So you get surprised. Sometimes you can get accepted, but usually the terms are preset, so you cannot ask prepayment from a translation company if you have signed, already a contract that says that you are going to get fully paid after 30 or 45 days. So that's the negotiation here. There's no room for negotiation that much, okay? But about the rate, if you can justify, yes, sometimes you might get accepted that. How can I find out the rates in a market I know nothing about? So what kind of market that you wouldn't know anything about would be? Another market, like a specific niche or specialization? What do you think is the question about, Luna, here?
Yeah, I think industry, like specialization. In that case, I just ask colleagues again. We have so many different translation groups with like every specialism: medical translators, legal translators, lifestyle translators. Last time I actually just asked because I was actually considering getting a large project, and I even had to do some translations or find translators into Chinese, Hindi, things like that. I had never really worked with those rates, so I needed to ask some colleagues. So I went to a specialized group and asked, and then I asked the people to reply to me via MP. And of course, if I would offer, obviously, to offer them the job if the project is validated.
Yeah, ask colleagues. Yeah, ask colleagues, ask groups, Facebook group. Find on pros, for example, the specific page with the price and rates, so you can have an industry rate standards there.
Don't be scared to ask the translator community.
Yeah.
You feel at the beginning maybe that they're really like big and successful people, but we're just people.
Yeah, so for me, coming back to the real example, when I for the first time quoted the localization project, I didn't know how much should I charge, and I was advised 14 cents back then, okay, as a solopreneur freelance translator. And I was surprised, wow, that high, and I got a yes, okay. They told me it was a bit higher from other colleagues, but they accepted my rate. And I had asked a colleague who lives in that specific country. It was in the Netherlands, the client, and I asked them in the Netherlands based, a localization company for such specific project, how much should they charge? And they told me, yeah, go for it. Charge that, don't go less than this. It's good to be in a community, okay? It's priceless for me to work in a community. It's different, okay, from having a mentor, because we have had such a discussion recently. Is it a community? Is it a mentor? It's totally different, okay? that you're going to get. But definitely such question can be asked in a community, can be asked privately, can be asked individually. And that leads us to summing up the tips that we have had for you, okay? First of all, realize your value for me. So as to be able to be confident, okay, two other things. Realize the value that you provide to your clients, the perceived value, and the value is not about translation itself. It's what they get through your translation for their own business. Okay, and knowing why you charge that high, okay, having very clear in your own mind. You don't need to justify that to your client, but in your own mind to be pretty clear that you charge that much because that's the minimum in order to make ends meet, and that's it. You don't need, explain to anyone when you know yourself that you cannot go lower than this. And that's pretty cool because then you will have, your minimum rate, and that's pretty nice. You don't need to justify that's my minimum. That's okay. I cannot make a living under this. That's it. So perceived value, okay, choosing your pricing strategy to know why you charge that much. Know why you charge that much. Having the 3 offers tip, so that's really saves you a lot of time. So if you can have 3 different offers, especially for larger projects, the minimum rate, the highest rate, and an in-between solution for your client. Usually they go for the highest, but at least, you have given them a range, but in a professional way, not a range of pricing, 3 different codes, okay? For the same project. Realize that you are solving a problem, okay, for them. They need you don't need them, okay? And the fact that the clients are everywhere. Wherever you look and you turn your head, there are clients. The sooner you realize that, the better for you and your mindset in your business. Is there anything else you would like to add, Luna?
Just on the fact that I think it's also very important to really listen to the words that your clients is using whenever they ask you for a quote. Some people will stress on time, some people will stress on quality, some people will stress on budget and things like that. And then I think that it's a good mind technique to actually take back the whatever you identified in their first email. For example, if they're like, "Oh, we would really like this really, really fast," then put this forward in your reply before. So you basically speak the same language. I sometimes try to imitate the way they speak. If they use exclamation marks, for example, I sort of like do the same because it's like lively. Some people are quite formal, some people are quite informal, some people use smiley faces, some people don't, and I find it quite fun, first of all, and also I find that you're more on the same page with your client if you try to like more or less imitate the way that they speak to you. I think this is also something I use personally as a strategy. Also, don't be afraid to get no, even if you're struggling for money at the moment or you didn't have a good month. Don't be afraid to get a no. This is where you're going to be really standing your ground, like Virginia was saying, like being confident with your rates. And then if it's a no, it's a no. Like we said, like there's plenty of clients in the sea.
Try not to look desperate, okay? Because the clients, they
That's
really
it.
that, and that's
Don't look desperate. Don't look needy.
And you realize your value, and definitely recommend you to do the idea client avatar exercise many times,
Yes.
at least twice per year, to realize your value. Okay, they need you provide a solution to their problem, and as long as you provide high quality translation services and you are a pro, there is nothing to be afraid of you charging, and it's pretty normal. The most normal thing in the world, yes, are your rates, and that's something that starts here and ends here. And I hope that we have provided some practical advice to all of you guys today. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Liana. Thank you, Vasilis. Thank you, everyone who's been here and they haven't introduced themselves. If you're watching the replay, use the hashtag replay and let us know, tag us, tag me or Luna if you have any question about the topic that we didn't cover. So that was it for today, unless there is anything else you would like to add, Luna.
No, I think that's it. Just, focus on your confidence, first of all, and then everything will just flow from there.
Great. So thank you once again, Luna. That was a great topic.
Thank you.
I've been talking for hours, but I think guys, we were, and with practical advice. Thank you.
The most content possible in a very short time.
We will have our live Q&A in the alumni group. I'm finishing. I have 2 more weeks for the fully booked translator formula. I'm providing free discovery calls these 2 weeks. So take the chance, to book a call with me. You're welcome, Louise. Let us know if you have more questions. We're going to see each other in our monthly call anyway. And Luna is going to share any kind of resources she has gathered for you in the comments. So see you and have a great weekend all, and thank you for being live here with us. Bye-bye.
Bye.